Hello, good evening and welcome to Starts Park, Kirkcaldy, wherever you be across the world and particularly across Europe. The bridge between our two nations will be strong tonight as the Raith seniors welcome Þróttur old boys.
Yeah.
And we are delighted not only to have them on the pitch, dazzling us with their footballing skills, but we've also got some representation in the commentary box as well. Representation actually from both teams. We've got Chris from the Raith seniors and we've got John from Þróttur.
Yeah.
One thing that I will put out there immediately, and anyone who's listened to Raith TV across the 14 seasons or so, 15 seasons that I've done this, is I will be struggling with Icelandic names, so I'm glad that I've got an expert sitting beside me. So let's start with some introductions. I'm David Hancock. For people who are not regularly listening to Raith TV, I am part of the Raith TV setup, and we are represented by, we've got a team of, I think we've got 5 of us here tonight covering that. We will name check them all in turn. We've got David Codd on camera, we've got Ian Grave and Neil Ingebrigtsen on production. We've got Molly Hancock as our runner, and of course you can hear my voice just now. So we've got this fascinating friendly fixture ahead of us. We are going to set the scene, then we're going to welcome the pipe band. That'll be the pipe band of the Black Watch at AACF, who'll come in and do the national anthems, I believe. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, how are you finding your early stages and your early moments in Kirkcaldy, John?
It's just beautiful over here. Great. We went to Glasgow last year, and we're more fond of this area of Scotland. We were playing with East Fife.
East Fife, yep.
Yesterday, and they played hard. They really played hard. And I think it ended 6-4 for them. But I mean, we're just for the fun of it as well.
Well, if it was a 6-4 game, there certainly suggests that there's going to be goals aplenty then. The east coast of Scotland, let's see how well it treats you and see if you can get a bit of revenge for your homeland today. We see that the young kids are there with the flags, so we are just waiting on the procession and the welcome of the band. Tell me, how did the fixture come about? And I'm going to ask you a wee bit about, I know that you're actually a club of quite significant history as well, dating back to the kind of 1950s or so.
Yeah, right. And this group of elderly people playing football is not as old as the club itself. So maybe we've been playing Þróttur Old Boys for maybe 20 years or so. And it's always getting bigger and bigger. And there are about 100 players who are training every week.
Wow.
But they don't show up all together at the same time, of course. But they're all on paper.
Absolutely, and the key kind of passion round about it, the values are exercise, fitness, creating a positive sporting community, mental health benefits, and of course the importance of companionship and camaraderie between you.
Yeah, right, and we love those trips. This is the third one to Scotland. Third one since 2018. And
you played a few teams on your travels as well. I'm aware of, I think, Livingston, Falkirk.
Falkirk.
Obviously the mighty Raith Rovers, who are your favourite of the lot, I'm sure.
You're all right. That's all, and normally they are much younger than we when we're playing here. Most of our guys are over 50.
Yep.
But like yesterday, had some guys, maybe 28 or so, and that's difficult.
I was wondering, I thought the kind of seniors movement was kind of 30, 35 and upwards in Scotland, but sometimes we need to get the birth certificates out and have a little double check here. Well, we're being serenaded by the pipe band coming up the touchline.
This is great.
Something that was only really reserved traditionally for cup final dates, so you're getting the real treatment, and you've got the young members of the Black Watch ACF pipes and drums. And the drummer at the back is very significant in one of these voluntary roles. That's Cameron Goodsir Maguire, who covers some fixtures for Raith Rovers Football Club in his capacity as a photographer. And it was his work through his business captured through the lens that covered a recent cup final victory. We played Queen of the South in the Challenge Cup final, so good to see Cameron here. This time with a drum and not a camera around his neck. In the background, just as you see in all the big international games, we see the teams enter from the side opposite the commentary point. And a little bit of ceremony added onto the top of friendship never does any harm, does it?
No.
Adding to the magnitude.
This is beautiful. Having music and this uniforms and all that. It's like a proper game.
Well, what we said is our consideration in terms of being the club's official streaming service and television channel was that we would set out to offer a match day production similar to that we would do for the Raith Rovers first team. So you will have 90 minutes coverage. Half time we'll take a small refreshments break, but the picture will stay live up on our feed. Our commentary point, as you look at the camera just now, is there's a very small box down to the bottom corner of the Raith Rovers main stand there. So there are the four of us pitched in. Of course we'll go quiet for the national anthems. You can feel very welcome to sing along if you so decide. I know you've got connections to the music scene in Iceland.
Yeah, that's right, but our national anthem is the most difficult in the world to sing. That's why when you see the Icelandic team on TV, they hardly sing, because it's really hard. It goes deep and high as well.
Okay, well,
it's beautiful music still. I'm sure they're not singing at all. I don't know.
Orchestral music across the pipes of Starks Park. I can't recall last time we've heard that. No. We've entertained visitors before here in European action, though there was no anthems that particular night. Of the national anthems are over. We'll see the lads get the tracksuit tops off, the handshakes, and then we'll get on with some football in action. And of course, we'll make sure that our match production makes its way over to Iceland with you. We'll make sure we give you a copy of that for the away for this is sharing, of course, with teammates. nice little memento of what's going to unfold here. What's your prediction before we go kick the ball? Give me a score prediction.
Your score prediction? Well, as I've never seen Raith Rovers playing in this group, shall we say, so let's say 4-3 for Þróttur.
Okay. We have
How about yourself?
Now, I only see the world through blue-tinted glasses, so I can only go one way. And given that many of these guys are bigger than me, but also know me very well, and certainly a number of them know where I live, so I'm going to say Raith Rovers 4, Þróttur 2. I'll go 4-2 the other way. And we have Chris from Raith Seniors, who's going to join us in the second half in co-coms. Chris, give us a shout. You've not got a microphone, but what's your prediction?
7-5.
7-5. Wow, that's a lot of goals.
7-5. Well, we've gone all mod con, so rather worryingly they've put me in charge of the electronic scoreboard as well, so we'll see if we can fire that up. But let me warn you, it only goes to 9. It doesn't go to double figures. We have covered a number of the women's games, and there was one game, I think it was against Buchanan, where formerly the Raith ladies at the time stood at 9 from the 80th minute, and I was like, don't score a 10th because we'll go back to 0. So we're good to go, and it looks like the teams are lining up that Raith Rovers are going to be defending what we would traditionally call the home end, the south stand, and Þróttur will be starting in a defensive position in front of the McDermott stand.
I think we've never seen so many people in the attendance.
Yeah, it's a nice
like this time.
A nice,
it's a personal record.
Nice bevy of bodies across the spread of the McDermott stand, down in numbers. It's free entrance. If you're picking this up on YouTube and you're thinking, you know what, I'm in and around Kirkcaldy, come on, pop down. We're going to keep you in contact, and I know there's other football on tonight, but there's nothing replaces being in a stadium. Any excuse to be in a football stadium will always be grabbed by myself and my family. From the commentator's perspective, my traditional commentary partner's not with us tonight, but the one thing we would be doing right now is smiling, because we've got a team in navy blue jerseys with white numbers and red jerseys with white numbers. There's no striped, there's no diagonals, there's no yellow numbers on a gold background. I'm a happy commentator right now. As I say, our pace of commentary we'll take it down a little bit. We'll a bit more conversational than maybe we would be for a first team fixture. But the guys are ready, and they'll be treating this very, very seriously. I'm sure there's a lot of nerves out there. What do you think, John?
Sorry?
Do you think there's nerves across the two sets of players?
Yeah, we got.
It's only natural, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right. But I'm always. We normally don't play 11. We don't play 8 against 8.
Yes.
8 aside. Yeah. So.
And here we go. The pennants, all important pennants and mementos are swapped. Lovely. All these little markers that just raise it above an ordinary footballing experience. The flags, the banners, the band, the high fives and the lining up. There's clearly a huge amount of affection between the two benches. That's something that I'm not traditionally used to seeing from this commentary point. Yeah. But well, it's lovely, and I think there's more kilts being worn by our Icelandic visitors than our homegrown lads. So the game is off and running, and the scoreboard's up and going as well.
Yeah.
I imagine we might just see the teams knocking the ball about, finding their zones. I think the huge advantage for the Raith seniors is they've played at Starks Park, artificial surface, so they'll be able to play a lot of matches here. So this is very familiar territory.
Yeah. We also train in artificial grass.
Yeah. And is it a stadium environment, or is it a
it's a stadium environment, yeah.
Well,
we got one stand like this.
But this isn't the biggest stadium that Þróttur will have played at. I've seen reference to the Stadium of Light, which was hugely impressive.
Yeah, then we played against each other.
Great. So an early ball over
it's
the
a goal.
top. The keeper's came out quite a distance, but he was calmly pedalling back there, but I think that there was maybe a bit more anxiety than his face was showing there actually in the moment.
Yeah.
But he got a good catch in it, and we see the ball pushed out to the Rovers' left hand side. A chance for an early ball into the box. We'll see if the confidence is there to swing the boot around. It's a lovely ball in. It's in that It's in that little gully between the goalkeeper and the wide player, so straight out of play. Early touch for Smári Rolfsson in the Þróttur goal.
Yeah.
Thought about coming, intelligent, knew that there was time and space, good spatial awareness, knowing what was going on. Referee very generously let that go. That ball was moving at about 8 miles an hour when he played it, but...
Right. How about the Raith Rovers? Are they training 8-a-side, or how is it?
They again, Chris will tell us, but it's primarily it's an 11-a-side. Yeah, it's an 11-a-side setup across the seniors game in Scotland.
Yeah.
I think as we go down to the walking football that those numbers would be reduced. An early chance for a ball driven at
Oh
goal.
my God, what a goal.
Well, look at that in the replay. There was a stepping off, there was an invitation to take the shot, and there was no holding back for Paul Forsyth. This is what he's been dreaming about there, as it's laid back in his path, and he just had to execute that with following through with
Great
right
goal,
foot.
great goal.
That's always very aesthetically pleasing when the ball hits the side of the net, and the closer it is to the top corner the better. So we will move the scoreboard on, and 1-0 is the score at this point. 2 minutes on the clock. Is that an indicator of what's to come? As Raith Rovers certainly have started with sprightlier pace. We'll see if the more youthful exuberance is going to pay dividends. Ball into the box, keepers came, held well. I'm going to call that a cheeky challenge, but I think I'm being generous there. Good ball in from John Gemmell. Þróttur looking to move the ball up their right hand side. And that's Leo inside. Ball to the big target man, but didn't manage to retain possession.
Yeah, he's not pregnant.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the modern football jerseys in their skin tight format are maybe not designed perfectly for our entertaining athletes this evening. It's a big pitch as well. I think when we do hit the kind of 70-75 minute mark, I think we'll see the dividends of being able to bring so many subs on at half time. There's going to be wholesale changes across the half time break. Of course, we'll be entering into the fray in the second half, and
I might do a few minutes. I'm injured like a lot of us.
I will of course be kind in commentary. Driven to the edge of the 6-yard box, it comes out and it's intelligently played. Þróttur holding a fairly rigid defensive formation there. Rovers pushing over the halfway line. Very high line from, I'm not sure, can I say the boys in dark blue? The gentlemen in dark blue. Oh, referee. Debate and discussion there as they're coming together. Draws a foul.
Yeah, I think he was acting.
Gio Leo, is that in his character there? Is he a rugged performer? I have that he's nicknamed the Lion, so I don't think that challenge is in any way
surprising.
Out of character.
No.
It might be a friendly, but we've still got to do our homework, and we've a spy in your camp, making sure that I know everything about this team. Ball into the box. It's loose. It's cleared.
Our guy Julius, who's number 33, he played as a professional in Sweden when he was younger. He's 62 or 3 years old. And he's not the oldest guy in that group.
I was actually reading with
there is 172.
Just absolute joy about Magnus Dan, who's 72 now and is out here playing. My goodness. I love the phrase that football is for everyone. It belongs to us all, regardless of age, status, gender, financial income, or capacity to be wonderful on the ball. It doesn't matter a jot. Football belongs to us all. So 72 making a trip from Iceland to Kirkcaldy, which, as we all know, is the home of football. And there's a through ball that's going to have to draw the goalkeeper out. He's going to put the old right peg through that. I think that's headed to the dugout there. Jim Harvey taking no prisoners with that one. And Here's the first substitute. It'll be a kind of rolling substitutes mechanism, so I'm not going to tie us down by every incoming and outgoing sub, especially given at half time we're going to see about 12 subs in each team. Keeper stays in his line, gives a shout, the ball's loose, it's a chance, we're in, great save, great block, it's going to need to be cleared up at the back there. And it was Mark Anderson who put it straight through the goalkeeper. No scorer for Raith, moves the ball out to Raith. He's looking for the overlap. I think he's going to try and go round the corner himself. He does. Good backtracking, the ball's deep. Þróttur come away with the ball. Very much the principle of playing the ball in the ground. Looking for the diagonal. It's played through the middle there. And that's unlucky.
Yeah.
Looking for.
Our captain was playing yesterday night as well. He was not supposed to play today, but
I mean, it's so many games in such a close proximity. I mean, you've got to do it when you're on a tour. You want to squeeze in as much football as possible. So, as I say, let's wait to the late stages and see how that is. Certainly, Smári Rolfsson's been busy and competent in the early parts of the game. I told you he's a great shot stopper, as we've seen there. As Mark Anderson went through and goal. No chance with the goal that was scored. The keeper gives a shout. I'm working from the team lines here, and you can already see a little disparity across the Raith seniors lines.
Offside.
And the flag goes up. So a little bit of respite there. You can see that we're working with both benches to get the team lines and make sure we're referencing players appropriately, but I can see one or two that's just not quite adding up, so Chris is going to help me across the Raith seniors and check that the names and numbers tie in, especially if somebody scores a 30-yard goal into that top corner. They don't want me giving it to someone else. Free kick's been whistled for. And we don't hang about, we get the ball in motion quickly. The floodlights are on. The only thing that beats European football at Starks Park is European football under the lights. That was well worth a go there. It was a good touch from Rolfsson, but fell to Graham Simpson. I think he was needing to get over the ball and drive it, but opted to just loft it goalwards, and it's a goal kick. Will be the outcome. Eriksson links up, but possession is conceded. Both teams looking to get the ball out to the flanks where they can. Certainly a lot of vocal encouragement out there. I can hear both languages loud and clear. Oh, referee misses that foul there.
Yeah.
Some local bias there, there's no doubt about it. Sigmundsson was clearly caught, and Raith Rovers go through and goal, and indeed they find a goal there. I think that might be a complaint to UEFA. It's the second goal, I think, for Raith. The ball falls fortuitously, but it's a good finish nonetheless. I'm going to call foul on behalf of our guests. I'm certainly not in any way intimidated by the fact that John and Cocoms is about a foot taller than me. But what do you think? Their little foul on Sigmundsson could have been given?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. He stopped for a while, you know, like he was pissed off by it.
And but the key thing, I think, is that Paul Forsyth has just got to continue, and he's got to go goalwards. You play to the whistle and you put the ball in the back of the net and you get a chance. So Þróttur boys find themselves 10 minutes and 2 down.
Yeah, I remember coming to Scotland when I was young, playing with Þróttur. You know, we were playing. David Moyes was the older one, was organising, and we were playing. You know, Scottish boys, and they were always more physical than we were. And I think it's still like that. Yeah, it's a well-known characteristic of not only our football. I will say it's even commentators have sharp elbows. Ball moved out to the right-hand side for Raith seniors. There's a run up the line from Norrie Raith. Almost intercepted, but the ball drifts through. He's got his head up nice and early. That's a characteristic of his play. Important touch at the back.
Rovers looking for movement at the edge of 18-yard box. Paul Forsyth, of course, on a hat-trick now, but there's a good block there from the visiting captain. Gets his head up, finds an out ball. You see small margins are falling to Raith Rovers' advantage just now. Good hard work there. The ball's one back. Looking for movement on the flanks, nothing obvious, so the ball comes inside, ball over the top. It's one for the centre halves and the centre forward to battle out. Lovely through ball, here's a moment. Oh, and I'll tell you what, I think that number 33 there was looking for the goal bonus. I think he was spending his money there on the ferry of the plane going back. He was into the kitty there thinking, I'm going to smash this into the net, but it wasn't to be.
He could have gone closer.
Juliusson, hands on hip, and I think he'll be thinking what could have been. That could have been one to show the great grandchildren when the when the footage is transferred to holograms or whatever exists in the future.
He's going to wipe it out.
Paul Dare is drawing in the centre forward and going right over the top. The flag's up, and the linesman's not to be messed about.
You're really surprised.
So it's a chance to get the ball back in play and maybe actually just gather a few deep breaths here. We all know in all games of football, the first kind of 10-15 can often pass you by. And when you're playing in any stadium environment, anyone who's played in charity games or these games where you bid for a jersey and you play alongside your heroes, you suddenly realise that pitch that you've looked down on for 10, 20, 30, 40 or even 50 years is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Jim Harvey. That's a convincing header. Will he do like a centre half's header? You have to do likewise again. Head tennis. Referee keeping quite a central position. I don't think he's had too much work to do today. The one key decision we spoke about through the ages, I'm sure.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Paul Dare is looking again to take the ball from Forsyth, but he moves across the field, and we're over. David Ball playing more as a traditional right back than a wing back. I think that will be a feature of the seniors game. I'm not sure we'll see many fullbacks marauding up the wings.
No, that's going to be a lot of running there.
More a traditional 4-4-2
the old centre back just staying. Keep the position.
It is much more. I was looking at the teams lining up before the game, and the word that jumped into my head was subutio. At that 4-4-2, we're rigid. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. You just waited at the central line some years ago. You're not allowed to go.
Balls all over the top. A little bit ambitious, but
yeah.
It's only considered a throw-in. Yeah, the ball boys taking their time back and getting the ball back to us. Assistant referee happy for Þróttur to advance up the pitch, and the ball's out of play, conceded from the throw-in. The incoming pressure from John Gemmell there was enough to hurry the clearance. Yeah, very quick turnaround in games for you. I'm sure there will be some aches and pains across your squad.
Yeah. I got some of the painkillers in my pocket here. For the second half.
It's always
600 milligrams of ibuprofen. How do you pronounce it?
Your pronunciation's absolutely on the money.
Yeah.
A little bit of defensive duties. I think the keeper should take control of that. Good kick, obviously confident with the ball at his feet. And you can see the pace of the game's just dipped a little bit, which I think will probably benefit Þróttur, and just encourage each other to manfully keep moving forward. Ball over the top from Rovers. Draws the goalkeeper out. He's comfortable.
Do you think Magnus Dan is going to be the oldest player who's played on this pitch?
Certainly in a competitive game he will be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, obviously we've got community use, so there may be some charity game that's happened that we're not aware of, but certainly in a game that's been covered in any kind of semi-official capacity, he will definitely be the oldest by quite some distance. It's maybe a bit of a challenge there in the coming years to see who can be the oldest player. I think there's every bit of there's every bit of kudos to be got from that. Of course, we'll always have this notion of who's the youngest to score a competitive goal for the senior team and so forth. But oldest player, brilliant.
It's the opposite.
So corner's taken. Challenge is made. Shout for a penalty kick that would have been borderline charitable if that had been given.
Yeah.
I think we might have had to call a private investigator if that one had been given there, because there wasn't much contact. Ordinarily we would have our chat board function. We've not got that today, and we've got so many things going on round about us that we're not monitoring the comments. But if you are joining us on our YouTube channel, wherever you be in the world, we're really grateful to have your company, and particularly if you're watching friends and family from Iceland. We hope it's a nice little surprise to actually be able to tune into the game and see your loved ones playing at the home of world football. So Simpson, plenty of time in the ball to bring in Lee McGovern. Nice little drop into the hole there from John Gemmell. Even better ball out wide. I thought we might have seen the right boot lashed at that one. Holds up, stands up, cuts it back. Maybe a wee bit too much football there. I really thought that Norrie Ray was just going to put the laces through that one. I thought the ball sat up well for him to have a shot and goal, but preferred to be the team player. So moving towards the 20-minute mark. John, you happy with what you see of your team?
Well, it's just I think it's what I expected to see. I mean, it's like I told you, we hardly ever play on such a big pitch.
Yeah. Oh, the offside flag. And well, somebody better call the police, because the Þróttur old boys ultras are not happy.
No, they're crazy.
I'll tell you what, they're
Furious.
making themselves heard, and goodness me, I think I can see some smoke from the flares and the flags and all. They are not happy.
From what these referees, from what country are they? Are they from Scotland?
We will make no comment on the dignity of the match officials.
I only see two flags here.
That ball was going through for Regenson, number 9, who's magnificently called the killer. So I see him that he has been likened to the Icelandic James Bond. So I am just grateful that flag went up.
He decided this nickname himself. We really don't understand what it means.
Brilliant. Well, there's an inviting ball, but you know what? I think that
there are elections tomorrow in Iceland, in all the cities, and he's running in Kópavogur with a new party, and he's number 2 in the.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but he chose playing football in Scotland instead of being.
We will always acknowledge the importance of that.
Yeah.
I was just noticing there actually the run of Sigmundsson. I think he looks like maybe carrying a little bit of a knock himself.
Number 6. Yeah. And also maybe you should know that we decide the starting team in both games. It's offside. In this trip, it's been decided before that everybody gets 45 minutes of a game. So it may be not the best players altogether. And
absolutely.
How is it is this your best starting team, the Raith Rovers? Yeah. pretty much.
Yeah,
so.
we've got Chris just off mic there, sheepishly looking at his shoes as he realises that the friendly nature of the competition's been
This one is good.
ambushed there as Raith Rovers put their strongest 11 at the start, advancing in and goal. That's a lovely effort there. It's wide of the goal, and you know what? There's teammates with hands and hips, furious, looking for the ball in. But that was a lovely little outside of the boot effort, and you know what? Why not? Why not? As we see the advancing goals, I think it was John Gemmell comes in, very neat angle. There's better options, of course. There's better options, but how inviting is that? It's
He's playing for the fans.
Absolutely, an entertainer. We all love an entertainer.
And the TV, of course.
And when the cameras get put on, we all know that players find that flamboyance.
Yeah.
So a throw in just underneath the camera gantry.
Oops.
Oh, little twist, a turn, a ball played up the line, too much on it. I think that Paul Forsyth can smell that hat-trick. I think the convener will be worried because I'm not sure how many spare balls that they've actually got, and we know the hat-trick, you can take that home with you. Nice little run up this left-hand side. Ball's played quite central. Raith Rovers having to backtrack a bit. Graham Simpson's more than up for that. Described as a key player by his manager, and certainly what we've seen. Ball breaks loose. It needed the centre half to come in and keep it simple. The ugly side of football, or centre halves as we call them. Nice bit of ball juggling there. The entertainer's out, but possession conceded. Þróttur just trying to draw Raith Rovers that bit further forward. Look like they've gone into a kind of 4-3-3 formation. Referee happy to let play go on there as Rovers look for a foul. 2-0 remains the score, 20 heading towards the 24-minute mark. I would expect this ball's going to be played right in on top of the centre halves towards a penalty spot. It's lofted, it's high, looking for a big head. There is a connection there, and it's enough. I thought that came off the Raith Rovers player, and it did. It's a goal kick. So centre half just got enough on it to cover the defensive duties.
Is the game showed in real at the right speed, or do they speed it up so it looks better?
We can do whatever we're asked to do.
I would say 25%. Speed it up.
Yeah, it's a bit like an old piece of music that we can play at 45 RPM, 33, but maybe we'll move this to 78. This one, I think.
Yeah.
Þróttur working the ball out from the back. That's neat from the goalkeeper. As we said, he's comfortable with the ball at his foot there. Here's our midfield link, plays the ball up the line. That's a nice ball there. Oh, unlucky. Good defensive challenge and nice ball up the line there. Good cover from, I think it's Alan Anderson, but equally the ball from Sigmundsson was good. And Ottar Edvardsson, the danger man.
Yeah.
Who's got goals on his travels, scored against Stennismuir, scored against Falkirk.
Right.
To get the trio of Scottish teams under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
But the defensive cover was good. Alan Anderson, interestingly, only started playing 11-a-side 5 years ago. Relatively new to it. And there he is. He takes good direction from his goalkeeper. There's a...
It's like a ballet dancer.
A pivotal moment there, and...
The Rudolf Nureyev of the goal.
We'll have to just make a wee... we'll make a minute mark on that of 25 minutes and 36 seconds, and we'll put that as a gift, because Jim Harvey has never been called or compared to a ballet dancer in his entire life. We'll have to give that one for him to put in the family album. Oh, keeper's came, he's in no man's land. There's a square ball on here, there's a driven goal. He's overplayed it. The hands up, the worries there. Far too charitable there from Norrie Ray. He's been so creative, and both sides has moved over from the right to the left there. I think he was diligently trying to play in Paul Forsyth for his hat-trick. Good block, and the goalkeeper gets the gloves on it. Goalkeeper just went for a little bit of walkabouts there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he thought that was part of a sponsor.
Killer is tired. I think doing a lot of killing can be really tiresome.
It's clearly part of the job description that stands out.
Yeah.
Throw in for Raith Rovers. Up the Pratt Street touchline. Pirouette, a turn, a great ball, and that was really, really inviting there for David Mackay. I think that he's more comfortable kind of cutting inside and getting round that final defender and driving the ball at goal, but the header was there. We'll claim that the floodlights caught his eye and the roar of the crowd was just too much. Good opportunity. Lovely ball into the box again though from John Gemmell that time.
So you got one godfather here, Lee McGovern. We got also one in our team.
I think that UEFA have it in their articles of association that every team must have a godfather.
Yeah.
It's a lovely ball over the top. The keeper stayed in and goes. It's just carried too much on it. Good encouragement from Icelandic supporters just behind our commentary bothy here. Nice little ball dinked over the top. A little bit of a breakdown in communication. Norrie Ray was looking for it inside. John Gemmell tucked it over the top. Nice ball all the same. Two-0 remains the score, 27 on the clock. Baldera will just do the sensible thing. He tried the sensible thing in knocking it out, but the ball's played in. That's a lovely delivery there.
Yeah.
It's going to need dealt with, and that's really, really diligent defending there. As aforementioned, Sigmundsson comes in to try and make the challenge. It's played wide, it'll go out for a Rovers throw in there, but David Bald done well. Strong and steady was what his gaffer told me before the game, and he was certainly strong and steady there. Got in, all important touch. Just proof that sometimes doing the simple thing is the most important thing. Anticipating that ball will go out to play. It does. Throw in for Þróttur. Possession conceded. Before mentioned David Bald.
Tired.
Substitutes go for a warm-up. These finely tuned athletes, got to watch the hamstrings and so forth. Keeper's going to come, favourite for that. Good shout. I heard that about 40 metres away through plate glass. Good goalkeeping. Þróttur certainly making more advances into the final third. Intelligent with outside of the boot. One of the most pleasing things to see in the game of football is a ball played with outside of the boot. Keeper Jim Harvey picks it up and gets his back underway. Lee McGovern back to Baldera, flags up immediately. And be calming the Jets and saving the energy there. It's a good ball nonetheless.
Yeah.
Played into a good area. So Þróttur inside the Raith Rovers half, retaining possession. The skipper gives the ball, we come inside. Lovely little header down there. Really nice piece of play there. Allows Þróttur to move on, and they won a corner from that.
Yeah.
So it's a corner on the railway stand side. Let's see how adventurous Þróttur are with the bodies into the box. Rovers leave two up. That of course draws some of the defensive players back. Delivery's an excellent one, back post, maybe a little bit deep. It's going to go out the other side for a corner. Yep, corner it is. Nice delivery there. Keller Coley with the delivery in the far side, but he's handed over responsibility. Sigmundsson. Referee looking towards the bench. He's not entirely sure what the problem is. Delivery shot to the apex of the box. It's going to be dinked over the top into a great area. Goal for the visitors.
Great
the
ball.
Flag stays down. The delivery was perfect. Little nodded header here. It's straight from the training ground. We see the skipper dinks it into the edge of 6-yard box. There's 2 players there, and the flick on is absolutely clinical. Gives the Rovers keeper Jim Harvey no chance. His position's central, and it's intelligent, the flick.
Magnus Danish on the pitch, the 72-year-old.
And the swagger from the visiting team is emphasised by the fact that you score a goal and you bring on a 72-year-old.
Yeah.
Some of my proudest moments in commentary, this.
We're just going to keep it like this.
Fantastic. Let's just hold it to half time.
Yeah.
We'll bring on the 72-year-old to steady the ship.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Rovers are through as the keeper comes out. The ball's played through, and that's an opportunity there. A wasted opportunity for Raith Rovers. I think the pass was right to play inside, but there was a shooting opportunity in there. Maybe a wee bit too generous, but Mark Anderson, he certainly would have appreciated that ball had the execution been a bit better. I think the pride of scoring at your own ground will never leave any of these lads. But it's Þróttur with the last goal of the game there, 2-1. A little back heel has gone out of play. Yep, the assistant referee says that's the case. And the keeper takes this goal kick that we see in the modern game all the time, the little ball played out to the full-back rather than directly up the park. There's a clash of the Titans on the far side. The ball stays in play. Good pass. Central position. Lovely through ball there, and I think there's enough. Yeah, there's enough on the legs of Alan Anderson to deal with that there, but I really do like the way that Þróttur moved the ball from midfield positions into the final third. There's an intelligence to the play. Lovely little tussle down in the corner. Ball thrashed with a belly of anger there, hoping that it would take a little ricochet for a corner, but it goes out for a goal kick. This finely poised game. Rovers Seniors 2, Þróttur All Boys 1 as the clock moves to the 33rd minute. Well, one thing that's been very obvious, and I would say this purely as a compliment to the seniors game, is that the ball has been on the ground for the vast majority of this game, and it's not something that we often, and in fact see with great regularity across the different types of games that we would be commentating on. Edge of the box. And the skipper's quite right, he has a goal from the edge of the D there. Rovers trying to counter. Nice block. Leo the Lion's been all over the pitch. One moment he's having a shot, and then he's
offside.
Putting a nice block there. Probably the easiest decision of the evening for the far side assistant. The flag was up. So we Raith Rovers goalkeeper and indeed player, manager, kit man, social media ambassador, water bottle carrier, pie buyer and everything else, Jim Harvey, who got the game back underway there. Not for the first time. You see the ball going round the corner. Cutbacks, the right idea. There's no on-rushing player. Jim Harvey, of course, who some of the Raith TV regulars will recognise the name. Jim covered some away games in previous seasons for us with camera duties. Great to pay back his kindness. And you know what? You've scored 2, the keeper's come out. Your head tells you that you're Glenn Hoddle. your feet maybe don't live up to the aspirations, but a little chip over the goalkeeper. It's like one of those things with the pass with the outside of the boot. It's so aesthetically pleasing. You've got to try it when the chance comes. And we could certainly do with the Þróttur Ultras adding a bit more atmosphere into this game. I don't know if they've gone for a pie or...
Yes, maybe some beer drinking has something
to
do with it.
Yeah, maybe smuggled in a little hip flask from their travels.
Yeah. Here's
the ball into the box. It's deep, it's carrying, it's comfortably taken with the goalkeeper. There was 2 Rovers players in and around Smári Rolfsson there. That's a great point made by the Icelandic supporter at the back of us there. I was just thinking that. Flags up again. Can you sense the anxiety in the home crowd? Do you think the Raith senior supporters are getting a little bit worried now?
At home? Yeah, I think they're waiting for the second half, so maybe see what we're going to bring on.
So are you looking the second half for Þróttur? Is it more of kind of dynamic second half personnel that you'll be bringing in?
Yeah, a bunch of characters. I'm maybe not as good in football, though.
I can honestly say
interesting persons.
I'm not reading the words that John's writing down for me here, but yeah, dynamic, vivacious, skilled, highly gifted actually is what you've written about yourself, isn't it?
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
So Ralphson gets the ball underway. That's a lovely ball across to the fullback. We'll go back to the goalkeeper, but certainly your teammates are confident moving the ball.
Yeah.
The man in the middle lifts the hand for a Raith Rovers throw in. We're back underway with David Bald inviting into the 18-yard box. Goalkeeper's very, very comfortable taking the ball from. I know that your manager was saying, watch out, it's a good shot stopper, but I've been impressed with how he's taking the ball from crosses, but also comfortable with the ball at his feet.
I think he never trained as a goalkeeper, though.
Ah.
Yeah.
Is it that the last person to arrive in the dressing room gets the goalkeeper's gloves?
Yeah. It's like being a bass player.
Yeah, that's it. Possession is robbed. The pass, I think, just takes a little nick from the Raith player. Is it a throw-in, I think? A little bit of confusion in the hand signals from the referee. Referee smiling. That's always a worrying sign. Throwing up the line. Edvarsson. That was an aspirational shout for Otter to make his way up there. The hooked clearance is going to need to be dealt with. Helgason, defensive midfield player, intercepted. And all the way back to the goalkeeper. Nice play, nice little competitive moment there, nice tussle, the challenges are flying in. Looking to see if that's maybe cramp as much as a little knock there for Raith Rovers number 9, Mark Anderson. Referee's happy to let player go on and let the lads sort it out themselves, that's how it should be. Jim Harvey gets his head up, effortlessly finds a teammate on the halfway line. That teammate's Graham Simpson. There's a run in and goal. There's a man spare in the middle. It's cut back. But the cut back just didn't have enough pace on it there. Nori Ray continues to get into great positions. He's clearly got some pace.
Oh, misunderstanding.
Bit of indecision at the back there. And you know what? It needed Alan Anderson to do the simple thing. We talk about it often across from the professional level down. There's a time to play football and there's a time to just do a simple thing.
Skjótu.
There's a numerical advantage, and we've gone over the top. I was expecting to see the wide ball there.
Was it a shot? No.
What do you think? Juliusson might have been an easier pass on the wing there.
Yeah, right.
See, former semi-pro player back in Iceland. Skalligrimur.
Sorry?
Skalligrimur, that's my best effort at his Icelandic club's name.
Skallagrimur.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to insult your language, so I thought I'd go for the.
But it's easier than Welsh, isn't it? That's like just somebody mixed up some letters.
I'm so grateful that there wasn't a UK keyboard was used to type out the team names lucky today. I'm not sure that had it been the proper keyboard and spelling in your national tongue, I might have been wiring into that bottle of whiskey behind me. It might have sounded Icelandic, I'm not sure. That's brave, giving the ball back with a bit of height to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's up to it. Lovely. That ball juggling there, confidence in each other, and a nice ball up the line. I think it's just got a little bit too much pace there, so will be a Raith Rovers throw-in. 3 minutes to half time.
Yeah, I think we're lucky if this is going to be the score at half time.
I think there's been chances, but
you got 3 or 4.
We always say
really good.
We always say in any commentary, it's a great leveler, and it's one of the beautiful things about football is there's very few sports where it's not necessarily the team who has the most chances, the most possession, the most.
Right.
It's just put the ball in the net, and that's what
beautiful about it.
It's what often gives.
Always have a chance.
It gives the minnow the chance.
Yeah.
We've seen Raith Rovers do great things when they're up against giants, and we've both seen our national teams do great things when they've maybe not had the possession stats, but the scoreboard said that we've won. So it's finally poised just now. That's a lovely, intelligent ball up the line there. Again, just like the pattern of the game is about players getting their heads up early, finding the pass. Sometimes there's a little bit too much in the ball, but you can certainly see the thought process at every passage of play. Nice little dinked ball inside there from Raith Rovers. Comes back. Lee McGovern. That's a lovely through ball there. Nice first touch. Is that a finish? That's a great finish. The arms in the air. John Gemmell with a lovely finish. And I say the finish was great, but kudos to Lee McGovern as well, because that that piece of play was excellent. But again, outside of the boot, the keeper stands his ground. And I've got a funny feeling that John Gemmell might actually be just hitting his refresh button on Twitter, hoping that Raith TV are going to post the highlights up before midnight, because that was a cracking finish. I could leave people to panic, or I could actually move the scoreboard up and break the bad news that it's 3-1, a 2-goal cushion as it stands at the moment on 44. Not undeterred in any way. Þróttur play the ball through, and Harvey's out. Looking for the flag, I would expect it to go up. No, actually I think it's intelligent with John Gemmell conserving some energy there, because I think the flag would have got up if he had went to advance towards the 18-yard box. Nice little triangle of passes there into the middle of the park. Referee happy to let play go. He'll have his eye on the stopwatch. We're over the 45-minute mark. Is there a final piece of action before the whistle's blown? Ball's up the line. Corner kick, I think's the decision, and it was Lee McGovern.
We're in extra time now.
We're just into the 46th minute now, John. Key for you to see out this corner.
Yeah.
Yep. Only one player left up. That's a second joining, so 9 defensive players in the box. The delivery's strong, top of the goalkeeper, great punch. He's going to need some support at the back post, but the match official blows the whistle. We will let John go and get his warm-up.
Yeah. Thanks. Nice meeting you.
Absolutely, we've really enjoyed your company.
And good luck in the
And
second half.
we'll catch you at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Good luck for your game and enjoy your football.
Thank you.
Well, we will take some time to just have a little break here in terms of turning down the microphones for commentary, and then you'll be joined by myself and Chris for the second half, but we'll leave you with the news. It's Raith Seniors 3, Þróttur Old Boys 1. Thanks immensely to John for his company and his charm in keeping us going through that 45. So catch us back for the second half. Great position to tell us about this. So we're back live with the commentary, working across a game whereby there hasn't been a regulation 15-minute break. It means that we've been watching a bit of football. I'm sure you're getting the pictures, but now you've got the benefit of our voices. So introductions for anybody joining us late. I'm David Hancock. I'll lead the commentary through the second half. Let's get a wee introduction from someone who's not from Iceland, a fellow South Stander. Great to have your company, Chris. Tell us all about your role and your connection with the team.
Yeah, it came along a couple of years ago, just before the COVID outbreak, and initially it was just to do a bit of training and a little bit of exercise, but that soon turned into playing 90-minute games as often as we could. So.
And you've been carrying a quite significant knock for some time, so I guess you're become a bit of a mentor of the team, filling in gaps, and here you are.
It's difficult watching games.
Providing commentary as a away team. Try and drill down on this 4-1 scoreline as it stands just now. We're just commenting that Rovers have certainly got more pace in the wide areas, and I think that's been one of the key differences between the teams. It's a lovely ball into the box. Great goalkeeping there. Not for the first time there, we compliment the keeper. It's all change across, particularly across our visitors. People have travelled so far, spent so much time in transit that the notion being that 45 minutes would be the reward. But 45 minutes across games that are coming thick and fast. If they're,
it's a lot of football they're playing. Yeah,
they had Methyl Milan yesterday and the home of football today, so it's quite a tour for.
I think 45 minutes is quite enough on a pitch this size as well.
Absolutely. I saw you nodding when I was making that point with John, that particularly as a Raith Rovers supporter yourself, you see the pitch and you encourage, and indeed of course we moan at players for not covering enough distance, but when you're actually on that surface itself, whether it be a charity game or a competitive fixture, it is absolutely vast, isn't it?
It's huge. It's playing amateur games, and some of the pitches around Kirkcaldy and Fife are tiny, and then you step onto this.
Well, here's a chance. We'll see this slotted home. It's great defending.
That was Norrie with a chance there.
Yeah, Norrie's got himself in some great positions, and it's been the one who's led the line in wide areas, always looking to be unselfish. That's what's stood clear. I think when he watches the rerun of the game, might have wished that he'd taken that a wee bit earlier. The ball did sit up, but a wee moment's indecision. And the good thing about this surface is that it plays so true, so you can actually rely on the ball coming up. I've spoke to professional players about key incidents where they've not had the shot, and they've kind of said, it was in my mind that actually the ball was going to bobble, and you just kind of lose perspective of the quality of the surface. Not only Rovers players, but we're in the fortunate position that often we're speaking to visiting players, some of whom have played with Rovers before, some of whom are just kind of good guys to have a chat to after a match, and they're all really complimentary about the surface.
I think when you hear AstroTurf, you remember the old AstroTurf where you'd skin your knee at the slightest
if you were
not like that anymore.
Ever in a position to have maybe played at something like maybe one of the original ones at East End Park would be a good example, almost carpet tiles. I remember playing for the supporters team there, and it was truly awful.
But it was East End Park.
Indeed, but for the people who could actually play football in a professional capacity, it must have been so much more stark, the difference. That's a good clearance there. Ball stays in play. Þróttur put in the challenge, but Baldur is stronger on the ball. What a lovely ball over the top.
It's Martin Forbes that's come on in the left back.
Not being somebody who's familiar with the seniors game, I certainly would comment that some of the quality of play in terms of the vision, in terms of looking to get the ball down, looking to play the ball into good areas, that's obviously there. You can see that there's a lot of football brains out there.
Yeah, a lot of guys played a lot of amateur football, some of them.
Yeah, you can see that across both teams.
And you can see what you want to do sometimes, but the legs just won't allow it. So
I mean, I think what maybe doesn't come across as well in the pictures is just that theme. You see such a narrow range of vision that when you see the width of actually being at a game, you can see you can see where a ball was played, but the runner doesn't make it. So it sometimes looks like a poorly executed pass, but actually it was actually something that was full of vision. But like you say, the legs. Let's keep us up there. Offside flag goes up. Offside was the decision, and referee not happy with the haste with which the kick was taken. It's an incredible model, isn't it, that Þróttur speak about, having such a kind of legacy of community provision, healthy living, camaraderie, all of the things that we're kind of pushing through the Raith Rovers Community Foundation and all the links that are in place. Again, we get around outside, stronger in the challenge, and actually a good decision there from Norrie. A bit more selfish there, and that's just what it was needing there. I think that
sometimes just the final decision is the thing there with Norrie. He gets himself into some brilliant positions, and sometimes the cutback's not quite there, or maybe the run's not been made for him, but he's definitely a target for us in games to.
Yeah, you can see that pace is going to be at a premium.
Yeah, with most
in
teams,
the seniors game, isn't it? So the seniors game in Scotland, is that kind of 35 years and upwards? Is that?
Yeah, 35, and most of us have gone through the effort.
Of course, yes.
The Raith community. So that's how it was started. That's where Jim initially had started the team as a 7-a-side team, and then obviously got more and more players, and I think we're close to about 50 players now.
Yeah, about 50. Yeah, Jim was saying that, and kind of 7 years that he's been building that legacy, and there's a really good model here in terms of what can be achieved. You ever thought about a European tour if our passports will allow it?
I would love a European tour.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
Maybe not the football during it, but I think, definitely. I think there was discussion maybe that a little return trip and go up to Iceland maybe
that would be lovely, and I'm sure you'd be well looked after. I still joke in our own commentary team that I'm the only Raith Rovers captain that's lifted a European trophy, so I'm keen that you don't do that, because I like that wee bit of trivia when the former supporters team went across in our Italian tour and we won the Joe Baker Friendship Trophy against Torino. That's a nice bit of vision by the keeper there, coming out. Good header, my man. That's a gentleman who's 72 years
72,
old.
yeah.
That is absolutely inspirational.
He's got a bit of pace in him as well.
Well, the great thing is that I'm not great at the happy clapping, kind of patronising of older people. That was a nice bit of play. Not a nice bit of play because the chap's 72. You can certainly tell he was a player, there's no doubt with that. Still a nice little edge to this game, isn't there? I mean, Rovers are certainly getting in round the back. The pace is causing difficulty, but there's still football being played on both sides. Oh, it came down in the knee, but good defence there. Nice shout. I'm not sure what the Icelandic for man on is, but that was what we could hear in chorus. Again. Nice bit of dig there. Oh, round the corner. Head up. There's 3 red jerseys there, so he should be favourite, but Martin Forbes keeps to the task. A shot from distance, blocked. Where's it going? Spinning out for a corner. The keeper wasn't sure where that one was going to land. So Magnus Dan, midfield maestro, 72 years of age. Back in the early 70s, he played in the European Cup Winners' Cup for Vikingur Reykjavik and against Legia Warsaw.
There you go.
There's a pedigree. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? Won the Icelandic Cup in 71. And he's in the box defending a corner. Yes, it's bouncing free. That took a little bit of a skip off the surface. Not only a football player, he's the man in question. He's won the Icelandic Mountain Marathon twice, 80 and 81. Don't anybody who tunes into Raith TV love the amount of detail of research that we do. Who would have thought that I'd been looking at Legia Warsaw European Cup games for the 1970s? But we've all got to kill our Friday somehow, eh? I think the referee will be enjoying this game as much as anyone, because any questions that are asked of him are of a kind nature. That's a lovely bit of dribbling. Is it going to break? Are we going to get the shot off?
Nice.
It's played inside. And a flag went up as the ball was played to the right again.
A wee shot there would have been.
Is it a feature of the seniors game that people are a wee bit more selfless than they are? Hit it there. Oh, just hit it.
If I was in that position, I wouldn't be passing.
Yeah, the eyes would be wide, and you'd be honing in and goal.
I would have probably went into the stand, but I definitely wouldn't be passing.
Yeah, you've got to buy a ticket if you're going to win the lottery. What about the seniors game in Scotland then? How lively is it? I kind of see scores on Facebook, and obviously Jim previously volunteered with Raith TV for a wee while, so we would travel in the car and hear some stories about it. So I know that these are far travelled. What's it like? Do you play on a Saturday? Is it a Sunday? Is it?
So the game's played on a Sunday, so a Sunday afternoon, and a lot of the times we get home games because teams want to play here.
Yes, of course.
But we do travel as well, so like tomorrow we've got an 8-a-side competition up in Aberdeen, and so we're putting a team in, and that's my first kind of return to kicking a ball in 8 months, so we'll see how that goes. But we go to places like Morton, Forfar, who are really good.
Yep.
And we played Denny at Ochilview as well, so we get to play in different stadiums as well. Station Park up at Forfar.
Just such a great chance with these surfaces, isn't it? Just opens it up, and it's one of the things about the stadium having a life beyond the 18 league matches or whatever. What a delightful ball there again. It's the keeper who comes out. Oh, he's played a slack pass, hit it. Have we seen a Beckham-esque finish here? It's not got the legs, but that could have been Arsene Bjarnason there. I tell you what, if he struck that for the halfway line, it was a mic drop moment, wasn't it?
Oh, we could have just stopped the game and just.
We probably should have just stopped the game and just, given them whatever awards we could find lying around the stadium. He's back on the ball. Well, he'll be taking home a story about that time he nearly scored for the halfway line at Starks Park. As we say, generations of his family will come with saying, "Oh no, that story again."
And he's got it on film.
It's on film, it's there.
Or he would have had it on film if he'd scored.
Keeper comfortably gathers the ball. Our visitors, many of them bedecked in their kilts. Always nice to see. Now a little Cruyff turn there as well. Good example, the ball dinked through the middle there, but Alan Anderson was clearly in charge of what was going to happen. There's the ball carrier. Graham Simpson just trying to pull the strings and find the gaps there. What you hear when we played Canis? Well, actually, let's wait and see, because it's a halfway line hero. Is in on goal, he cuts it back, and again, just a wee bit too much football.
Didn't fancy it in the left foot there.
Yep. I've got a funny feeling that the coach of the Þróttur Old Boys will be saying that left foot's for more than just standing on.
He looks quite a good player though, the number 10.
Yeah. He's got a great first touch, hasn't he? I was just going to ask you the question, Chris, whether you were, I would assume you would have been here with the Cranes game when...
No, I came to Raith Rovers a wee bit later, because I'm originally from Aberdeen, so I moved down and just hadn't been to a game in years, and I got talked into to coming along, and I've been coming along ever since.
Great stuff.
Just loving it. It's just, there's no trouble wherever you go. You go away from home, you're chatting with away fans, home fans come up to you, and tends to be just a friendly kind of atmosphere when you go to these games.
Right. In the corner come in there, it was August Falfils who got the header. Good connection, but just wide of the target. Step over. Nice little bit of showboating there as the ball does the work up the line, the cut back. And a little Zola back heel there from Mark Anderson. It's comfortably seen out by the keeper. I'm not entirely sure if Þróttur have changed their goalkeeper at half time. Looks like the same lad. I know that we were informed there would be wholesale changes across the 11, but it looks like the same goalkeeper to me, so I'm assuming it's still Smari Rofsson who's in goals. There's that bit, nice first touch, intelligent little ball, the ball's doing the work. Yeah, a little bit of ball juggling from Dera there.
We've got Lindsay McClellan's come on at left midfield there, number 12.
Looking for a return pass, but possession's the name of the game here. The centre halves of works a partnership, one going, one staying. Watch that offside line there. Is the ball going to come? There's the ball, he's onside.
Good ball.
Just a little bit wide of direction there, and it's mocked up by Graham Simpson. So they're going to take this for a run, or see some more substitute action. Linesman's flags up. I think that somebody would have had whatever the footballing equivalent of tennis elbow, they would have had kind of scoreboard or digit if they were using one of these electronic scoreboards, because I think we're just up to about our 34th sub just now. A rotation, making sure everyone's getting a game, but as people have a little pull of the ankle, a little bit of the calf gives a wee bit of pain, they go off and then come back on. Þróttur on the left hand side, railway stand side as we look at it. That ball's asking a lot, but it just holds up nicely in the surface, advancing into the 18-yard box across the face of the goal. Oh, and it's a moment of what could have been there. It's a nice delivery. It was carrying a bit of pace, but his head and hands at the back post. We can see this delivery. Right footed, takes out the goalkeeper. And I think we might need to say that that bit of footage was lost when we were converting it to a different format. I will say that it was a powerful run at the back post.
Yeah, he's just not quite committed enough. Not got enough on it.
Yeah, you've also got that reality as it's played so close to the post that is it going to be a calamity for your health and well-being as well. Þróttur defend well, but it falls to a blue shot. Looking for a pass, looking to get a bit of width in the park. Linked over the top, good head up. First header that Joe Pali's won. The ball's played out there. Out for a Rovers throw-in. Pali playing at the back there. No stranger to Scotland. It's the third tour. And we are finding, of course, that we're making Icelandic references, but Joe, one of the guys who's come across from Norway, flown in from Stavanger, particularly just for tonight's game. That's dedication to the cause, isn't it? The flag's up, and I'll tell you what, the wily fox there, the hand was up immediately. Magnus Dan telling the assistant referee that the man had ran too early. Back to front. Keeper should comfortably collect that. It's just on the edge of the box, but there was always enough weight on it for Rovers to start again. I was actually quite surprised that 90 minutes was the projected time for the game. I wondered if it might have been at the seniors level, if it was maybe a 40-minute game or a 35-minute game, if you almost hit that reverse clock, but not the case.
No, it's since I've come along, it's always been a 90-minute game. So I think with the amount of subs that most teams have as well, they tend to cope quite well with the 90 minutes, but definitely there's a few tired legs.
Yeah, I think we can see that. I think that might have more of a resemblance to walking football as we get to the last kind of 10-15 minutes or so, but that's only natural, particularly for our visitors across at New Bay View last night. It was 6-4 was the score.
We're still on for the 7-5.
Well, I'm looking here, we've still got the 7-5 still on. Technically so is the 4-3 and the 4-2, but we'd have to see Þróttur a bit of a comeback. Rovers are going to get this ball into the box, a nice delivery. That's a delivery that football supporters scream for, isn't it? Hit the penalty spot, take out the goalkeeper. Wilson, it's a football supporter who takes that over the top. Little skip off the surface, but the keeper's got the measure of that. Of course, having a number of minutes under his belt.
There was no moan when the short corner was played.
It's up in the air. Alan Anderson plays the ball round the corner. McLellan, recently added substitute, holds, makes a run, gives and go all the back heel. It's got a wee bit much on it. Jordan McManus into the Roy Race trick book there.
Well, loves an outside of the foot shot as well, as you might see later.
Well, that's there are many tropes of Raith TV's commentary, and an outside of the boot ball along with marauding wing backs, particularly left backs, are things that we're very fond. We love a chip, so any of these boxes getting ticked would be great for us. It's a goal kick. The crowd have stuck with the game. Playoff action on across the professional game tonight, so kudos to everybody who's made it down, everybody who's tuned in. Maybe people sitting with their tablets running parallel to the professional matches tonight. Thanks for your company. I'm sure that both Raith seniors and Þróttur old boys will be delighted to know that their friendship across football's been so well respected. Lovely little ball in there over the top. That one holds up in the surface, but you say that the Þróttur goalkeeper's familiar with the surface well. I think there won't be many goalkeepers have played more minutes in Starks Park than Jim Harvey, given the access that's there for the seniors.
Just when you're saying with the ball holding up, you don't see that in the Rovers games because the pitch is watered quite a bit, whereas we don't get the benefit of that. So you know that you can put a little bit more on it, knowing that it's going to hold up, rather than when you watch Benny clip a ball over the top and it just bounces straight. I find
it interesting as well watching these kind of minor details, because you can see how you can kind of manipulate the surface for different teams, different games, different weathers and so forth.
It definitely slows the game down if you haven't watered it.
That's a lovely ball. Really strong defence there when it was required. August Valfels knocks it out for a Rovers throw-in. Apologies to the families of all of our guests if I'm horrendously mispronouncing names. It's a little bit harder to do your homework on Þróttur boys, I found, than teams across the Premier League and the Championship First Division Premier League playing against. Have it. That one's headed really to Balweary. It's hitting a train and it's down the back of the bray there. cramp setting in across a couple of players. That classic pose of curling the toes.
You'll never get cramp when you're winning though.
Or if you're Dougie Hill.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a corner kick, I think. Yeah, I'm just looking at the referee's position. The assistant wasn't overly helpful with the flag positioning, but it's a corner kick to Raith Rovers. It will be taken from the railway stand side. It's going to be Craig Mitchell to take it. A little substitute across the defensive line. Referee, yeah, saying go for it, lads. These corners have in general been swung out towards the penalty spot. That one's more central to the keeper. Great header, and the clearance is completed. Only finds a blue jersey. Look at the shot, the dink. That's lovely off the bar. It was always, from our wonderful viewpoint here, hitting the bar. But the second strike,
what a goal!
Crosses the line.
Paul
it's
Dera.
Ushered over the line, but Paul Dera is who gets the goal. The second of two wonderful efforts there. We're only going to see Paul strike. Cuts across the ball, and I'll tell you what, the keeper's really unlucky there because he gets a touch to it. I think the steward's inquiry will be out here. This will maybe clarify whether it goes over the line before the on-rushing player does. Touch for the keeper. Yes, it goes. Keeper touches it over the line. It's Paul's goal. Graham Simpson follows the ball in, but the deed had been done by then, and we move the scoreboard on to Raith Rovers 5, Þróttur Old Boys 1. They've certainly got their goal for their travels. And the ball's burst as we go to the sidelines to get a replacement. This is going to be, I think, a long 17, 18 minutes or so. It's a delightful through ball there, but it's the goal scorer, Paul Dera, who nudges it out to his left back. Near post ball. Looking for a foul, but it's not given. Referee happy to let play go on. And the clearance came. And was then ushered up the park. One of the lads in dark blue. Nice piece of control. The layoff's a little bit slack. Chance for Þróttur to clear their lines. Again, the insistence on playing football. Doesn't leave them. The ball's chested down. Corner kick's given. Both sets of players put their hands up. The travelling photographer for our visitors is very unhappy with that decision there. Stern telling off given to the referee, but the ball's edge of the box. It's shooting in at the moment. There's the shot, and there's a great block there. It's big number 4 who's done a great job on a number of occasions.
Yeah, he's been good.
August Valfels.
Everything in there. Just goes and wins everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, in some ways it's what was missing in the first half, where Rovers seniors had more of the directness of balls into the box from wide areas. And it wouldn't be a game of football out with the professional game if we didn't lose the ball.
That's a regular occurrence at training, is going looking for the ball in the stand.
Yeah, it's underneath a seat, but what seat of the 3,000 it's difficult to tell. Here comes the corner. See, there's a variation. That one again, quite central, and again it's the same player who clears that, August Valfels. I think Paul Dera's set a bit of a tone that Rovers players rather will be living the fans' dream of having a wee strike from distance if they can. It's played out wide, bodies in the box, it's dinked over. Not sure that I even need to say who that was with the clearance, because it's the same lad. He's had a great game coming on at half time. Having the luxury of moving defensive players that bit further forward. chance for the breakaway. There's certainly men up if the ball's released early. There's width and there's time there for Olafsson. Keeps the ball down. It's a nice first touch. We've got to go goalwards. And I think we need a bit of ruthless execution here. It's played out. A strike. Oh, and that maybe sums up the luck that our visitors are having. Smashes the post. Keeper beaten. A good block there, and the ball will stay in play. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that in time, but that was a lovely strike there. It's laid out. Oh, that would have been an absolute corker. I mean, Paul Dara scored a beauty, but that might have actually taken the shine off it. What a strike.
I think Þróttur definitely look a better team in the second half. They seem to be a bit more organised, and they've got a few guys breaking from midfield as well that they didn't maybe have in the first half.
And they've done that brilliant thing, which all commentators must love, where they've decided to play with 2 number 4s. A momentary lapse into walking football there as the substitutions happen. It does look it's been a substitute goalkeeper as well at half time, so we've been wrongly addressing one of the goalkeepers. I'm wondering if second half goalkeeper I was speaking to before the game, I think it's August Tomlinson who is in goals for the second half and not Rolfsson. The last thing that I want, Chris, is lots of angry letters from the August Thomason fan club.
With an Icelandic postmark on it.
Absolutely. If they turn up at my door, I might have to get the CSI Kirkcaldy. What throw to it? The ball just drifts out there. Couldn't quite see from our vantage point, but Raith seniors will hand the ball over to Martin Forbes. Looking for movement. There's a chance. Let's see if we can get a strike. What a tackle. We were saying earlier that it was about taking the chances that little bit sharper there, and I think that that's just what visiting player did. But the challenge from, I think it was Graham Simpson, was really well timed. He's in the box, he's under pressure, the trigger was just about to be pulled. Raith seniors survive. A little bit of mountain pressure. Again, nice bit of defending there. The assistant referee was well out of pace because the seniors player must have been a good yard offside there. No harm done, as we'll restart with a throw in. No, it's actually, it was a foul that was given. The rotation of subs continue. Ball's played inside. Svensson there gets a touch. It's a lot of running to be done in that wide area there. I think it's a Raith ball. Pally made a valiant effort. Ball's played. A dangerous area.
There's the outside of the McManus boot there being used.
Yeah, I think that would have been fine if he had also just taken a little breath and phoned a taxi for his teammate. But I'm not entirely sure even with the taxi he was getting that one. There's a lovely through ball, flag goes up.
Offside.
Oh, that's is the referee playing that on?
Playing on, I think.
Confusion abounds, but I think the referee has overruled the assistant referee. It's left the Icelandic player running in and goal. And the keeper done well, let's be fair to
I think he actually stopped at one point though.
I think there was confusion with the player as to actually whether play was going to continue or not. Flags up again, but this time the referee honours that decision. I did think the first one, I thought it was onside, but the referee on that occasion went with his teammate.
Usually we don't have the linesman, so it's just on the ref's call normally.
I think had it been without that, I think the scoreline might have been a bit more animated, but 5-1 it sits, 10 minutes to go. Raith Raith advance into the final third. Opportunity to get Lindsay McClellan in. Nice little touch inside. It's hustle and hassle in there, but the ball eventually breaks to the edge of the box. That's a nice little dink ball there. There's McManus. Raith have to regain possession, they do it. Caldera turns the ball from whence it came. Width is a decision rather than getting the ball in early. That's a lovely delivery, and it's good hands from the goalkeeper as well. Agus Thomason done really well there. The break is on. It's an overlap, it's just behind. Just trying to create that shot there. Mentioned about how well travelled Þróttur have been. Keeper August Thomason was man of the match when they played at the Stadium of Light in Sunderland. That's quite an honour. Both goalkeepers done well. Carry no blame for any of the goals really. No handling errors. One little moment in the first half where Smari came rushing out, but no harm was done. Rovers failed to execute the opportunity. It's 1-on-1 now. Is this the keeper's moment? Raith player goes round and nudges the ball into the net. And even though the scoreline moves to 6-1, there's a punch of the air.
It's McManus.
Because you've just scored a goal at Starks Park, why wouldn't you celebrate that? Is it primarily Raith Rovers supporters who play with the team? Is it?
No, it isn't. It's a mix. There's a few Rovers fans in there, but there's fans of all different types of Scottish clubs, and not just Rangers and Celtic as well. You've got people come along like Dundee fans and things like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. In and the goalkeeper. We're going to see a finish. Round the keeper, and Jim does well. A shout for a penalty. It wasn't going to be given, but I'll tell you what, that was maybe the neatest piece of play. Was the little nudge through to the on-rushing striker was really, really good. That was delightful, the through ball there. Again, I'm really struck with what you said earlier, Chris, that it's maybe just about taking the chances a little bit earlier. It's a little bit more self-belief, and it's a little bit of just going back to your schoolboy days of executing everything effortlessly without thinking.
Yeah, just don't let the keeper set himself. Take it nice and early, and as long as you get it on target.
Once the keeper's close the angle and the dimensions suddenly change, it's difficult. Another through ball, but blocked by one of the number 4s. Again, they're really handy on the break. Is it wrong to be willing on the team who are visiting Starks Park? That's delightful ball played out. Let's see the execution. A strike. Oh, it's off the bar, and I think the keeper got a touch to that one.
Great save.
We'll see the replay in good time, but I'm confident that Jim got a good strong glove to that. He did. That's a wonderful save. It's a great effort actually. Comes off the apex of the crossbar there.
You can see that being a profile pick.
Yeah, I think that'll be one that we'll be looking for the club photographer to get a still shot of that.
Good to hear the away fans making a bit more noise than some of the other away fans that come here.
Ball into the box, keeper stays, good defensive header, and into the gloves of Jim Harvey. This one, I mean, that's the fine dimensions, even in this particular level of football. You know, Jim Harvey gets a glove on it and a great save there, but it was only in the second half that August Thomason done likewise, and Paul Dara's shot, you know, you can cleanly see that the keeper gets a great touch, and ultimately Paul scores a bit of a worldie for a lifelong Rovers fanatic.
What a touch.
Nice touch for the big linesman there. I would like to rush out to the commentary point and give him a big pat in the back, because it's one of the things that annoys me when a ball's rolling up the touchline.
Maybe just one man of the match there, I think.
The linesman lets it go. So we're in the final 5 here. And play continues. with hustle and bustle and good spirit.
Yeah, you can see that Paul's still got the legs even for 85 minutes in. He's getting older, but he still gets around the park as well. He's an important player for us.
Absolutely. There's a nice touch from Lindsay to go around the outside, sets himself, finds a teammate. The cut inside was well read there, and Þróttur continue to be a complete nuisance on the break.
He's onside. He's onside.
Whoever comes out to claim that there. Yes, Svenson's been the anchor of a number of these nice little through balls. It's an on-rushing chance, hit it first time. There's a goal for the visitors, and it's nothing less than a chipped finish, much to the delight of the commentary team. You see the replay here, lifted over, keeper gets a good touch in it, off the underside of the bar,
nice
and Þróttur get a goal back. We might need to see some emergency treatment from the physio there. A pull at the edge of the box from the goal scorer. And I would like to give you more information on the goal scorer, but we don't have a number 15 listed, I'm afraid. It was a great finish, and it merited more kudos than we're able to give the on-rushing striker. He's damaged himself, looks like maybe an away hamstring or Achilles there. And you can hear a volume of Icelandic voices. They're either roaring each other on, or they're saying, "Where is the idiot with the scoreboard doofer who hasn't moved it to 2? I have now corrected that issue." And the score reads Raith Senior 6, Þróttur Old Boys 2. The navy blue glasses can certainly be lifted a bit now that the sun's set, and we can offer our respects to the visitors. That's no more than they've deserved. Another chance, the flag stays down. There's movement forward. There are players out to the left hand side. The strike's there. And John Olafsson succeeds only in testing if the spectators are still awake behind that goal. I think that was about row W. Had to retrieve the ball there. To be honest, I think if some players had followed John's lead earlier on, we might have seen more goals. We've seen a wee bit where we've said that players have overplayed it in wee bits. I think we'd have given an extra little cheer there if Big John, our first half summariser, was to have hit the back of the net. What great company he was. Ball's up in the air. There's still a physical duel there. It's clearance over the halfway line. I think we're having a who can kick the ball the highest competition at the moment.
Number 4 wins.
It definitely does, or one of the number 4s wins. Agricultural but fair challenge there, I think, from Craig Stewart. And it'll be a throw-in. We make it inside the final minute in the stadium clock. Your matchday clock's just a little bit in advance of that. Ball's fed it wide. Are we going to finish with a Þróttur flourish? The ball's cut across and it'll be a goal kick. Referee looks at the watch, and I don't think we're going to see much more, Chris.
No, I think by the looks of the speed of the game now, I think it's pretty much time to end it, I would say.
To be honest, it's one of those that much as the bodies will be weary, I'm sure they would play another half an hour because they look like they're enjoying themselves, but the whistle will be blown any moment. The referee looks at the watch, the familiar 3 peeps of the whistle, and it's full time here at Starts Park. The final score of Raith Senior 6, Þróttur Old Boys 2. We are not going to hang around for too much time because we would like to let Chris go and join his teammates and his congratulations and his respect for the visitors. We will thank you for your time, Chris.
Thank you very much.
We'll hopefully catch up with you as the season progresses as well. And as we count our way out, we'll most importantly say thanks for tuning in. If you're in and around the UK and the Raith Seniors team, great to have you around. If you're part of the Þróttur boys set up, continued good luck to you all. We wish you health and prosperity, and thanks for your company and indeed the travels of your team here. Take care, and we'll catch you all when football returns to Starts Park come the next championship season. Good night, everyone.